English, their learning and teaching issues. Okay, so hopefully it will be beneficial for you all and the knowledge will be fruitful. So I urge that every of the participants, especially can prepare your notes. Okay, so probably later on you have something, you catch something, and maybe you would like to deliver a question to both or either speaker. You can deliver it live. Okay, here for those the audience who come into the room, but also I also invite the participant who is online from Zoom. You can deliver the question by chat box or later on in question and answer session. You can open your camera and also your microphone to deliver the question directly. All right. So now we are moving on to our very first agenda today. That is the presentation by Mr. Yuta Otake. And we have been connected to him now. And in a minute, he will deliver it. However, before he even start the presentation, allow me to give some information or background related to this extraordinary speaker. It's Mr. Yuta Otake that has been teaching since 2009, received his master in TESOL from New York University, and already teach in the whole globe, all throughout the world in US, Cambodia, Indonesia, Taiwan, and Japan. And he has also worked as an EFL content specialist for Sesame Street, currently works in Uzbekistan as a TESOL coach for American Council. He loves teaching because every classroom is unique community with its own dynamic energy. So he will be fit for you, the future teacher, okay, where later on you can set up your classroom, become more positive vibes, okay, because we have actually met Yuta Otake. So 2020, okay, so the early of 2020, Yuta Otake once visited IAIN Kudus, and in this very room, he delivered it. Because at the time, I'm the one who picked him up and also take him back to Semarang, to the airport. So during the way, we have some like a promise, yeah, that one day he will come here again, maybe next year, in the following year, in 2021, he can be here again because yes, we experience lots of positive vibes and also lots of knowledges, a lot of good energy that from him that we always expect it from time after times. Yes, and however, due to the global pandemic that was experienced by our country, not just in our country, in this world, okay, that agenda was canceled. But now we have another golden opportunity to listen again from Mr. Yuta Otake. So let's grab him. Good day, Mr. Yuta Otake.
Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you. How are you?
Okay, everyone is great. Everyone is doing great, Mr. Yuta. All right, look like so where are you now, Mr.? It's been a long time. I don't see you again.
That's true. It's good to see you. I'm currently in Uzbekistan.
Okay, and looks like it's the blue batik that you are wearing now.
Yes, always.
Okay, nice. Okay, so Mr. Yuta, the participants are all already can't wait to wait the exceptional presentation from you, Mr. So without further ado, I present the golden stage belong to you. Time is yours.
All right. Thank you very much for your introduction. Hi, everyone. It's so good to be here. As you mentioned, I have been to your campus. I have been to IAIN Kudus before, and I'm very happy for this opportunity to meet you all again, even though it's virtual. I'm very happy. So thank you, everyone, for this opportunity. And thank you all participants for joining. Okay, so I would like to keep this as interactive as possible. In this big room, do they see my PowerPoint or no?
Well, we have seen the PowerPoint here, but wait a minute. Okay, just another humble reminder, Mr. Jita. So probably you can make like 30 or 40 minutes of presentation. Is it okay, Mr.?
Yes, more than enough.
Okay, thank you very much. So, okay, we have actually for those who are online, they already see your PowerPoint yet. Okay, but however, in actually in this room, okay, we still experience some glitch. Okay. So probably like maybe Mr. Jita can wait for a while.
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Juta, you are good to go. Okay, sir, you are good to go. I mean, sorry.
Okay,
Like,
so everyone in the big room can also see the slides, yes?
yes, we are.
And if I would like to keep this interactive, so everyone who is participating on Zoom, please interact through the chat. Everyone who's in the big room, maybe you can participate through the moderator and other people can share your answers through the chat for you. Okay, so let's begin. Everyone, it's very, 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 very nice to see you. For some of you, I'm seeing you again. For some of you, I'm meeting you for the first time. I'm very, 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 very happy to meet all of you. So let's begin. What I want to focus on today is something very simple, but also complex. So today I want to talk about a simple concept, categories. So using categories in our classroom. Before we begin, I would like to test your creativity. So here I have a photo that I took in a classroom in Bangka Belitung. So please think of a creative title for this photograph. So imagine you're putting this photograph in a museum. What would you title this photograph? So for example, maybe in Bahasa we would say kepo, yeah, like someone who's so curious and gossips. So please share through the chat, or you can share through the moderator. Please share a creative title for this photograph.
Come on,
Let's see what
let's.
you have.
Okay, if you have to keep this caption, then what is it?
We have Mr. Zuhaib says communication. I love it. Alfia, kid's secret. Love it. The whisper. So good already. Thank you. Dewi sharing information. And if there's any good ideas from the conference room, please just share through the moderator. Dia, don't tell others. Ooh, foreshadowing. These are great. Secret. Thank you everyone for sharing so actively. Okay. So again, if you're not on Zoom and you're in the conference room, don't be shy. Please just raise your hand and tell the moderator, and the moderator will share with everyone. Okay? All right. So, next question. Here we have a beautiful watermelon. The watermelon is floating in a pool. My question to you is, why is this watermelon floating in the pool? So please think creatively. The question is, why? Why is this watermelon in the pool? Okay, because there's water inside the watermelon. Okay. What else? Please think creatively. Oh, due to density. So these are very scientific answers. I like that. Do you have anyone else? Why? Why is this watermelon in the pool?
Come on, just give into the chat room. Okay, why the watermelon is floating? Come on, we need more answer, please. Yes. Because of the water, because of the density. What else? Fate, destiny. Okay.
Dewey says someone threw it in the water. I love that answer. Okay. Because someone threw it. All right. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. Oh, watermelons float in the water. This is a very scientific response by Zohaib. Thank you. All right. So, next, some of you know me already. Some of you, you're meeting me for the first time. So I would like to do a quick icebreaker. Here, we have 3 places: New York, Japan, Uzbekistan. Please, in the chat, make sentences about Utah using these places. So, for example, maybe Utah is from Uzbekistan, or Utah lives in New York. You don't know, you're just guessing. Please try to make sentences about Utah using these places. Okay, we have the first one. Utah teaches in New York. Utah travels all the way to Japan. Remember, you're just guessing. If you don't know me, that's the point. You're just guessing. So there's no wrong answer.
Yes, this is interacting classroom. Yeah, so we always welcome to everyone to be active. Yeah. Okay, please. Okay, let's join the class. Everyone.
Anyone? New York, Japan, Uzbekistan. Thank you. Ufa says Utah goes to Uzbekistan. Great. Good. Several more. Mohammed Hanif, Utah was born in Japan. Utah baby from Japan. Yuta was born in Uzbekistan, but he currently lives in Japan and he loves traveling to New York. What a full sentence. I love that. Okay. So I will tell you the answers in a moment, but first I want to show you 3 more words. Dancers. Indomaret, grab. Please make sentences about Utah using these words. Dancers. Indomaret, grab. Utah bought a new shirt from Indomaret. Keep it going, keep it going. There's no wrong answer. You're just guessing. Utah grabbed a dancer. Wow, I didn't know they sell dancers in Indomaret. Nadifan says Utah was actually a dancer. Maybe before I became a teacher, I used to be a professional dancer. Maybe. Couple more. Lufa says Yuta goes to a dancer's performance, so a dance show. Okay. Suchiati, Yuta asked Bali dancers to celebrate. That is fantastic. Yuta asked Bali dancers to celebrate his birthday at Indomaret. Yuta usually goes to Indomaret just for snacks. These are great, everyone. Thank you for sharing actively. I really appreciate it. Last one, Ahmad says, Yuta's so tired after dancing and goes to Indomaret for drinks. I grab. Wow. Ooh, Defiana says, Yuta really likes dancing and he works as a Grab. So I'm a Grab driver. Okay. So let me show you the answers about myself. Maybe some of you are correct. Yuta was not born in Japan. I was born in New York City. But you can see from my face, yes, my parents, both my mother and father, are originally from Japan. The reason my mother and father moved from Japan to New York is their dream. Their dream was to become professional dancers. So they moved to New York. So unfortunately, I am a teacher. I am not a professional dancer. Yeah, but my parents, they are professional dancers. So they moved from Japan to New York, and I was born in New York. I currently work in Uzbekistan. Someone said I was born in Uzbekistan. I was not born in Uzbekistan, but I live here right now in Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan is famous for watermelons. And remember, I showed you this picture. In the summer, like right now, it's very hot. It's the summer. People always throw the watermelon in the pool to keep the watermelon cold so that when you cut it and when you eat it, it's delicious and cold. So this is cultural. Like every time you go to a pool in the summer in Uzbekistan, you will often see many watermelons floating in the pool. This is very normal in Uzbekistan. I love Indomaret. I love Indomaret so much that once I tried to work there. So I spent one day working at Indomaret, as you can see from the picture. I also spent one day working as a Grab driver. This is in Malang, in Kota Malang. Yeah, because I was really trying to appreciate Indonesian culture, learn Indonesian culture. So I spent some time working at Indomaret and also at Grab. Okay, so now you all know me a little bit better. So I would like to get back to our topic, which is categories. So today I want to tell you how, as teachers, as educators, we can use categories in our classrooms. First, let's start with a very quick true or false activity. So, number one, bananas are sweet. Very simple. Can you share in the chat? Do you think this is true or false? Haib, thank you for being so active. You said true. Defiana says true. Nadifan, true. Okay, so far everyone says true. Ida says false. Interesting. So generally, most of you are writing true. Okay. Let's move to sentence number 2. Yuta is Japanese. So number 2, Yuta is Japanese. Is this true or false? So we have false, 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 false. Okay. I want you to remember these 2 sentences because at the end of this presentation, we will come back to this page, okay? So just remember these 2 sentences. We will come back to this. So, many of you are already educators, or many of you are studying to become educators. So I have a quick question to all of you, which is categories. How do you use categories in your classroom? I imagine most of you use categories all the time. It's so normal, yeah, to use categories. So how can someone share some ideas? How do you use categories in your classroom? We could get a couple ideas.
Or anyone from here, from the participant, or from
Yes,
our
please.
honorable
Anyone from the conference room?
and
Jangan malu. Any ideas? I know this is quite a difficult question, especially because it's how, yeah? How do you use categories in your classroom? I imagine, just to help you all a little bit, I imagine many teachers, oh wait, we have some here. Nadifan says categorizing students by skill level. So this is like categorizing your students, yeah? Good, good. Or yes, in your class, you can categorize students by gender. This is common. Especially in language classrooms, categories are used every single day. Like all of you, you can even think about your English textbook, yeah, or your textbook. Unit 1, sports. Unit 2, weather. Unit 3, family. If you always think about the typical textbooks, it's always taught in categories, right? Unit 5, clothes. Unit 6, travel. These are all categories that we teach every day. And I imagine many of you use games or activities in your classroom using categories. So I want to show you one category game, and we're going to do this together. Okay? If you're on Zoom, you can do it through the chat. If you're in the conference room, if the moderator can please help me out, this is like a race. It's a race to find 4 words. So when I say go, your job is to find 1 country, 1 piece of clothing, 1 job, 1 food. So for example, you will write in the chat, we have someone from Pakistan. T-shirt, teacher, nasi goreng. So like this, you will put 4 words in the chat. Not 1, yeah? 4. So you will go 1, 2, 3, 4 words in the chat. And the moderator, if you can help me out, students in the conference room, you should also try your best and you can share. Okay?
with pleasure.
So, however, for all of you smart participants, this is too easy, right? This is too easy for you. So we have 1 more. Yeah, we have someone who already finished. This is too easy. So let me create 1 more rule. I am going to give you a letter. I will give you 1 letter. Every word must start with that letter. Okay? So this is what makes it more difficult. Let's try 1 example. Let's say the letter is P. We have Pakistan again. Pajamas. Pilot. Pizza. So you can see this is just my example. Yeah. So all of you, I hope you understand the rules. I will give you a new letter. This is a race. So think quickly. Get ready. Get ready to share in the chat.
We are ready.
Okay. And conference room, if you finish, just raise your hand. Okay. So remember, the letter is not P, yeah?
Okay.
I will give you a new letter. Okay. Everyone, the letter you must use is letter S. Go.
Got it. Okay. One student, please. Okay, one student is ready to answer in the room, Mr. Yuta.
All right, so we have one student in the chat. We have one student in the conference room. So let's start with the conference room. Can you share your 4 answers?
Yes, please. You can
Sweet.
country.
Country from Indonesia.
Yo, country from Indonesia.
Sweden. Sweden.
Swedia.
Switzerland.
And then the clothes.
Sweden. Syria.
The clothes. The clothes. Shirt. Okay. Job.
Security.
Security. Nice.
Ah.
Sate.
Okay, well, Swedish shirt, security, and satay.
And what is your name?
What is your name?
My name is Siti Soliha.
Siti Soliha, sir.
Also S.
Also S.
Double S. Okay.
SF.
City.
Yeah,
Well done,
super
City.
sample.
Good. All right. Now let's check that we have many answers, but let's just check the top one. Yeah, the first student, the first participant, Nadifan Zulfami, Sudan, shirt, stellar, shrimp. Also, well done. So Siti and Nadifan, thank you very much. And everyone else, there's many options, yeah? That's what makes categories fun. So that was just a practice round. We're now going to do the next round. We're going to make it a little bit more difficult, okay? So we have city in the US. Wow. 6-letter word means when you spell the word, it should have 6 letters. Job again, and positive adjective. Okay, so these are your new categories. All right, I will give you a new letter. So everyone, get ready. All right, the letter is B.
B. All right.
B.
B. Well, this will be a little bit longer, sir.
Yes, exactly. See, this is taking more time. That's good. Ooh.
Oh,
Okay, we have someone in the chat. Let's see if we can get someone in the conference room.
okay. You want to answer directly? Okay, so there is one answer that will directly state the answer.
Okay.
Okay, come on, Mister.
For city in the US, Boston.
Boston.
6-letter word. Burger.
Burger. Okay, it's
For
for me.
job.
For job.
Barista.
Barista. Okay, and then positive adjective.
Positive adjective. Beautiful.
Beautiful. Okay, Boston
What is
Burger, barista, and beautiful. Okay, what is your
what
name?
is your name?
Name is Krishna.
Okay, Krishna.
Krishna, well done. And we have Nadifan again in the chat. Nadifan is the category master. We have Boston. Very smart. Using Boston again. Boston. Okay. Barista and brilliant. So well done, everyone. Okay. So, of course, this game is fun. But actually, what I want to show you is how categories have many options. So, you know, in our textbooks, we typically have things like countries, clothes, job, food. But you can start to see categories can be very specific, like cities in the US. It can be more general, like positive adjectives. So there's many ways we can use categories, right? Categories are not just the basic things, parts of the body, colors, shapes. We always use the same categories. So try to think outside of the box. Like, what new categories can we use? We're going to do one more example. Let me show you how massive categories can be. Everyone, look carefully. These are also categories. Something round, like a ball. Something soft, like a pillow. Something we take when traveling. Something in the refrigerator. So you have to think creatively. These are all categories also, right? So categories can be so different. There's so many options with categories. So let's try one last round. This is the last time, okay? So I will give you a letter. This is the most difficult one. Think creatively, think outside of the box, okay? The letter you must use is letter S. Go. This is hard, I know. I can imagine all of you are thinking, ooh, our moderator is finished. Let's see if we get anyone from the conference room also.
And anyone wants to answer directly by raising your hand? Okay. Yeah. Ready.
Okay, so we have someone in the chat. And Mr. Moderator, is this a student? Or, I mean, is this a participant or is this your answer? Does anyone want to share from the conference room?
Yes. Who wants to answer? I think someone is ready to answer, I believe. Who will be? Come on, raise your hand. Which one? Which one? Okay, I know someone. Okay. I see one of you is raising your hand, but just lowering it again. Okay, come on. Okay. Wait there. I think it's a girl. I think one of the girl on the back. Yes. Oh, okay. Well, please. Okay. There will be two. There will be two. Okay. There will be two answers.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so first chance will be delivered by Miss who? Okay, so at first, what's your name? Miss Ayu.
Ayu.
Miss Ayu, okay, well, what is your answer, Miss Ayu?
Stone.
Stone,
Silk.
silk,
Sunscreen.
sunscreen,
Salt.
sauce. All right. Okay, from Miss
Oh, I
Ayu.
love those.
Okay, and one more. I think one more. Okay, one more is it's no other than our student council chief. Okay, the student council
Ooh.
chairwoman. Okay. Yes, please deliver your answer. Something round, something small, something soft, something repacked, something intelligent. Yes. Please, Miss Aisyah Fariha.
Oh, yeah. Something wrong with sun.
Sun,
Something soft. Sponge.
spawns,
Something you take when traveling is shirt.
sir,
And something is the refrigerator with sausage.
sausage. Okay, you put sausage on the fridge. All right.
All
Okay, that's
right.
a wrap.
Thank you, everyone. Great job, both of you. And you can see from the chat, we also have many creative answers. What makes this activity fun is there's so many options, right? But if you really think about categories, we started with something simple like country, clothes, job, food. These are great. They're great. But you can see when we use categories like this, we're really pushing our students to think differently, to connect words differently, to think creatively. So sometimes we have to use categories in different ways. Don't get stuck in the same categories every day. Teachers have a tendency to use the same categories every day. Yeah, it's the categories from our textbook: family, sports, holidays, colors, shapes. These are good, but also think creatively. What other categories can we use to help our students create more connections? So uh, what I really want to emphasize today is that categories are used all the time, yeah, especially in our classrooms. They're really useful, but if we use the same categories every day, it can be kind of like a limiting tool. It really limits our students' creativity because they start to always think only in one category. Like, oh, this is category A, this is category B. But in real life, most things are parts of many different categories. Like the world is very complicated, the world is very complex. So we need to teach our students that. So I would like to finish. We are going to come back to this true or false. Number one, bananas are sweet. Everyone, please think about this one more time and share your answer through the chat. So again, think about how categories are always changing. Categories are different. The world is very complicated. Number one, bananas are sweet. Is this true or false? Please share through the chat. And try to explain your answer. Don't just say true or false. Tell me why. Ah, there we go. We have the moderator. Bananas can be sweet or bitter. Exactly. Let's see if we have any other ideas. So,
Yes, yes. What is your idea? Bananas are sweet. So you want to like give another idea? Don't just affirm it. Don't just justify it. Yeah. So maybe you can say. Mm.
there we go. Thank you, Muhammad Hanif. Green bananas are bitter. Yellow bananas are sweet. Ah, I think now you're starting to reach up. We have human bagas. Bananas can be sweet as long as it's ripe. Wow, good word. And several types or kinds of bananas are not sweet. Exactly. The point I really want to make, we were talking about categories, yeah? We have a tendency as teachers to simplify everything. We try to make things simple for our students. We teach them banana is a fruit. A banana is yellow. A banana is sweet. But actually, if you really think about life, that's not true. Bananas sometimes are green. When they're green, they're not sweet. They're usually very bitter. Yeah? A banana can become rotten and old. Then it's not yellow or green, it becomes kind of like brown, yeah? And it's not delicious. So life can be very complicated, and it's good to simplify, but it's also good to teach our students that there's so many different ways to look at one banana. Next question. Yuta is Japanese. True or false? So think about it again. This is my last question. This is my last question. True or false? Yuta is Japanese. What do you think? Again, life is complicated. So think about the layers of this sentence. There's many layers to this sentence. By the law, Yuta isn't Japanese. Yuta's ethnicity is Japanese, but his nationality is American. Okay. So, as some of you are writing, this sentence has many layers, right? We try to keep things simple, but actually it's very complicated because are we talking about my blood? Both of my parents are from Japan. So maybe if we think about blood or my face, I'm Japanese. Are we talking about my passport, which is American? Yeah. Are we talking about how I feel? Maybe I feel Japanese, but my passport is American. Yeah. So there's so many truths in one sentence. It's not always Yuta is X. It's not always bananas are sweet. Yeah. So as teachers, I want to encourage all of you to teach your students to help them understand that life can be very diverse. Like there's not just one true statement. Bananas can be so many different things. They can be so many different colors. They can have many flavors. Yeah. So this is what makes teaching and what makes life so amazing. So there's a quote that I love by a writer. When we reject the single story, when we realize that there's never a single story about any place, we regain a kind of paradise, meaning
What makes life so enjoyable is that one story doesn't cover everything. There's many, many perspectives, many ways to look at one thing. And it's our job as teachers to help students understand that. So thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate this opportunity, and good luck, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, well, let's give lots and lots thunderous applause to Mr. Yuta Otake. Okay, well, so everyone, the participant, the attendees of this grand opportunity, later on in our question and answer session, please, you can deliver a question if you feel there is still some that you're still not clear with related to the material. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes, Juta. I really miss you. Hopefully, one day you can also visit campus again, so we can dance again with that Backstreet Boys or New Kid on the
I hope so too. I hope so too, everyone. Thank you again, and I hope to see you all in Kudus or in New York or in Japan. See you.
See you. All right. So, and now to save our time, we are going to welcome to our second extraordinary speaker that is already you have been waiting for, and it will be Professor Alizedney M. Ditucalan, JD, LLM, from the Mindanao State University of Philippines. Well, again, before we come into the presentation, let me recite the simple resume from him. So the name is Professor Alizedney M. Ditucalan, the Chancellor of the flagship campus of the Mindanao State University System in Iligan Institute of Technology, located in southern part of the Philippines. One of the country's visionary academic leaders contributing to the innovation in higher education in the Philippines. He is a professor of law, specializing in competition law. Chancellor Ditucalan holds a post-juris doctor degree in international economic and business law at Kyushu University, Japan. Okay, so yes, as we know that from Professor Alizedney, he is the chancellor, and also there are some background that we need to know related to our education. Yeah, that we know in Philippines there, English becoming the national official languages that is used also during the academic setup, academic background, academic setting. Yes, and also in their daily life. So here, hopefully that we can learn about how is the implementation, how the academic setting there when they are teaching using English, because as we know that English, we are in English education department, we need to know, we need to submerge, we need to immerse ourselves in English in our daily setting. Okay, and also information that related to the Mindanao State University, our education already have some collaboration with them. Last year, our Secretary of Department, Bu Alfu, and also Mr. Imaduddin they had visited there, and also previously also Professor Monera and also Miss Rizka visited IAIN Kudus. And this agenda today, this ICETLI 2023, is also in line with the collaboration between IAIN Kudus and Mindanao State University. Hopefully that this collaboration will everlasting and always give us the fruitful knowledge, the beneficial collaboration that will make us become one step closer into the future. Without further ado, now let's welcome our next speaker, Professor Alizedney M. Ditucalan. Good day, Professor Alizedney.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good afternoon from the Philippines. Good morning to our friend from United States, Yuta Otake, and good day to everyone. I understand that we have participants all over the world. So I'd like to once again extend my greetings of peace to all of you. It's truly an honor to be with you this afternoon to talk about the role of the academe in English language education, perspectives from multicultural context. My presentation will somehow differ with that of Yuta Otake, which very, very interactive. I would have wanted to join earlier on during his presentation, but please indulge me that mine is a bit, I must say, structured and formal. The presentations I'm doing this afternoon is outlined as follows, and the title is The Role of the Academe in English Language Education, Perspectives from Multicultural Context. In this presentation, I will present how policy making in the academe shapes not only the programs that the university offers, but also the landscape of English language teaching in our direct communities. I will exemplify this with experience from my university, being an important academic institution in southern Philippines, whose context is very much unlike other locales in the country. I will begin by contextualizing the perspective from which I approach English language teaching. I will then move on to discuss how English, which is legislated in the Philippines as an official language alongside Filipino, is very different from Philippine languages. In section 3, I will show the research that the language departments of my university have had undertaken, as well as the institutional support that makes this possible. I will also talk about how ELT has evolved in terms of program design in response to the changing landscapes of education and digital media. I will conclude this talk with some thoughts about the legacy of colonialism in the Philippines and how we endeavor to move away from such a worldview. From a multicultural and multilingual perspective, what we bring into our use and study of English only enriches our experience. Currently, I am the University Chancellor of a higher education institution in the Philippines. And my university is called, as was already mentioned earlier, the Mindanao State University Iligan Institute of Technology, or MSUIIT. It is the flagship campus of the MSU system, which is composed of 11 constituent universities and units located in Mindanao. And just to give you a context, Mindanao is the largest island in the Philippine archipelago. And Mindanao comprises 40% of Philippines' land area. It supplies 40% of the country's food. It also holds 40% of the country's mineral reserves. For an island that is home to half of the country's total indigenous population and home to 94% of the country's Muslim populations, it is unsurprising that we will have a plurality of worldviews, which is somehow important in the conversation this afternoon. Because of this, MSUIIT serves a diverse population of students. In 2022, for example, we served a total of 12,233 students. And these maps on the screen shows where our students are from. Of course, the bulk of our students are from Mindanao, but the map shows that the largest populations we serve are from northern Mindanao. We also have a substantial number of students from Visayas, and from Palawan, as well as from Luzon. In 2022, we served 1,062 students who are first-generation learners. They comprise 8.7% of the total population. These are students are the first ever to reach college level in their families. 10.4% of the total populations are children of a solo parent, and 123 are persons with disabilities. Student demographic data would also reveal that 387 students belong to indigenous groups. Aside from Ranao, students, we also have Subanan, Higaunon, Manobo, Tausug, Maguindanao students, among others. These are among the cultural communities residing within the island of Mindanao. This data give us an insight into the population we serve. So you would note that we really have a very, very culturally, linguistically diverse students. At this point, let's talk about a bit of how English differs significantly from the Philippine languages in terms of grammatical structure, because I think this is quite important in the context of the Philippines, where the medium of instruction is English. We speak approximately 186 languages in the Philippines, excluding those that have not been documented yet. About 40% of this number are languages spoken in Mindanao. The English grammatical system is very different from the grammatical systems of the languages spoken in the Philippines. First, while English requires a subject in its sentences, the Philippine languages do not. We have a whole group of sentences that do not carry a subject. And many, in fact, consist of only a single word, such as, for example, umuulan, no? Meaning it is raining. Umuulan is one word. When it's translated in English, it is a complete sentence. Second, unlike English, predicates do not need to be verbal in the Philippine languages. While English requires predicates to be headed by a verb, in Philippine languages, we could have a perfectly formed sentences, which may have adjectives, nouns, or adverbial phrases as predicates. Third, English also follows an SVO pattern. You have the subject, verb, then object pattern, where the subject precedes the predicate. While usual Philippine sentences do not put the subject before the predicate. Therefore, if the predicate is a verb, the verb precedes the subject. Fourth, unlike English, Philippine sentences may not have a predicate at all. We call these sentences non-predictional sentences, and they do not carry predicates nor subjects. For example, we could say, tag-ulan na naman, meaning it's rainy season once more, where there is no directly identifiable subject or predicate, but which combine to form a sentence. Fifth, where English has only two voices, an active voice and passive voice, Philippine languages have 5 voices, composed of 1 active voice and 4 non-active voices. Sixth, English pronouns, another distinction. English pronouns distinguish between gender in the third person for he or she, and the objective her or him. In the Philippine languages, no such gender distinction occurs in these pronouns. So we're no longer, in the Philippine languages, there is no problem with giving emphasis on gender fluidity, because we really don't have gender. No, it's built in the language. We only have one pronoun pertaining to the third person singular, the pronoun siya. And finally, English has 14 vowel system, while the Philippine languages only have a 4 or 5 vowel system. English also has more consonant sounds, including F, V, Z, and the retroflex which are not in the phonetic inventory of Philippine languages. For these reasons, the Philippine languages pose a challenge to then current frameworks relating to how we study language. In a paper called The Philippine Challenge to Universal Grammar, the linguist author Himmelman demonstrated how the grammatical system of Philippine languages question the very concepts of subject, sentence, predicate, and word order, among others. Such questions as these may be raised. Is the subject a required element in a sentence? And is it the most important element in sentence, as we have learned in the English grammar? Should a sentence always contain a subject and a predicate? Do predicates always need to be verbal, as in the case of English? Does word order mean more than it was thought to do? This means that our definition of such concept had been based heavily on English grammar. This was because English was the most studied language in the world, and the features of English were used to exemplify frameworks in linguistics and language studies in general. Such shift in perspective opened the door to more nuanced study not only of English, but of languages in general. The study of English as an entirely different grammatical system posed a difficult challenge to our learners. You will see how our students who spoke at least 2 Philippine languages at home before they learn English will have a uniquely experience in learning English. With the many features of English being very different from those of the native languages that the students speak as L1 or first language, many interferences or many interference errors occur. So what is a good English teacher in this context? Now, this is the elephant in the room. The good English teacher in this multicultural context is one who acquires adequate knowledge of the grammatical systems of his own language in order to appreciate, diagnose, and address the problems that arise in learning and teaching English to multilingual students. Because Mindanao multicultural context is unique background for teaching and learning, it is imperative that our research address the concerns that arise in these contexts. In M.Si, we have 2 language departments. We have the Department of English and the Department of Filipino and other languages. I earned my undergraduate degree from the Department of English. And perhaps that's the reasons why, to some extent, I am here talking about the role of academe in English language education. The second department is dedicated to the study of Philippine languages, as well as the national language of the country, which is Filipino. Research conducted by the Filipino department pertains to the indigenous languages in the Philippines, especially in Mindanao. These language projects include grammar description, language documentation, and dialectology studies, which aim to identify the speech variety of particular languages. The English department conducts research on English language teaching or ELT, usually in the context of policy and assessment. Currently, the research agenda of the department reflects the kind of work that is being done in these areas. And these are language education and policy, language and culture, language and gender, linguistics, language and migration, language and environment, language and peace, language assessment, cultural studies, language and identity. And one of the proposed reforms that we hope to implement is, in fact, the renaming of the English department to the Department of English and Cultural Studies, because we are now moving our Masters of Culture and Arts to the English department, because we really see the connectedness of language studies and cultural studies. But the biggest number of research is done on language education and policy, followed by research on language and culture. Given the rich tapestry of the Mindanaoan context, it is unsurprising. Research in this area focuses on narratives as well as on data from contextualized locales such as digital platforms and media. Special among this demographic trend is the research that is especially focused on peace and gender. How language is used to negotiate identity and meaning is the main subject matter of this research agenda. Now, as research moves towards transdisciplinarity, collaborations with non-language departments are the trend. Research teams from information technology, engineering, biology, and mining now include a language perspective in their research, thereby achieving a more holistic description of the communities in considerations. The English department also extends its services directly to the community with extension programs that benefit students and teachers of various schools in Iligan City, where the university is located. In the past 5 years, the department has conducted a review program for high schools in hinterlands of the city. This was especially to address the poor admission rates of these schools to M.Si. Turnouts has been wonderful, as admission from these schools has increased. We now have first-generation college students from the recipients of this program. In partnership also with University Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta of Indonesia, the Department of English also conducted 3 cycles of the first international extension program of the university. All 3 programs benefited government-run high school teachers who had been retooled and upscaled, especially in the use of ICT in designing their language classrooms. Our research impact on our communities is determined by such metrics as our alignment with Sustainable Development Goals. So we also look into SDGs. There are 17 SDGs, as we all know. And we make it a priority that our research align with SDGs. In fact, the Department of Research and the Department of Extension, now we call We Care, both require internally funded projects to target any of the 17 SDGs. Leadership in these areas is also demonstrated in the conduct of international conferences dedicated to furthering language studies. In the past year alone, M.Si throughout its language department hosted 3 international conferences, and this was last year, for example. We have the International Conference Workshop in Language and Literature, Salindunong International Conference on Language Research, and the 5th International Conference of the Linguistic Society of the Philippines. These international conferences were very well attended, including LSPIC 2023, which was the first in-person conference that MSUIT hosted after the pandemic. Now let me proceed to design of academic program on English studies. The current overhauling of Philippine educational system necessitates the revisit and revision of curricular programs to continue to uphold standards and quality of educations. Being strategically located in the island of Mindanao, which is home to various cultures, MSUIT's English department remains steadfast in adhering to the university's special mandate and mission of producing not only academically competent graduates, but also culturally sensitive scholars and professionals. And language plays a vital, English language teaching plays a vital role in achieving this. Owing to the fact that understanding the nature of the relationship between language and culture is central to language studies, the English programs intend to provide students with a holistic educational experience that affirms, supports, and promotes all cultures through linguistics investigations, to be able to contribute positively to greater peace, cooperation, and understanding. For example, the bachelor's program in English used to be a hybrid program that equipped students with both linguistic and literary skills. Included in this program are ELT and ESL courses with an internship programs on English language teaching. In the newly crafted Bachelor of Arts in English Language Studies, there is now heavy emphasis on theory and practice in the learning, teaching, and use of English in various contexts, in and outside the country, with the aim of improving communication in different domains and of increasing awareness of contextualized varieties of English. The revised Master of Arts in English Language Studies, on the other hand, provides a holistic view of how power relations and communities of practice use language to perpetuate ideologies and control. For the graduate program, CHED's Memorandum on Policies, Standards, and Guidelines of Philippine Graduate Education series of 2018 defines graduate education as advanced, interdisciplinary, rigorous, geared towards higher competencies for knowledge generation, acquisition, generation, and exchange. With this graduate education philosophy, the Department of English envisions to pursue a coursework but research-focused graduate program. The revised Master of Arts in English Language Studies shifts from teaching pedagogies, theories of language teaching, and teaching literature to research-focused courses that explore the functions of language in various domains, communication, and that apply and or challenge frameworks and models of post-colonial English through the discourse of power, ideology, language, culture, and gender. This proposal also provides a holistic view of how English and its varieties contribute to language policy and management and their effects on different communities of practice. Through language, people construct meanings, which represent their worldviews. And these ramifications are captured in the new courses of this revised program. The English graduate programs of the university have undergone at least 2 massive curricular revisions in the past 10 years. The first of these was the adoption of existing Doctor of Philosophy in Languages Studies, first offered in the main campus of the MSU system. This doctorate program aimed to capacitate English teachers to build and assist programs that can be implemented in their own context. Not long after, the English department of our university pushed for the offering of PhD in language studies. The new program is deemed more relevant and is founded on intellectual and philosophical foundations for societal and cultural issues and linguistic diversity, creating new frameworks in the study of language or languages, catering to the demand of the employment market, and addressing gaps in language studies for individual and social transformation. Thus, this doctorate program in English language studies recognizes the shifting cultural texture and demographics in the country and in the world in general, which call for the creation of spaces where cultures and identities mutually, if not equally, impact one another. These spaces shall be a ground for exploration by the students as it becomes a resource for language ambiguities, paradoxes, and complexities that students can learn from, examine, argue, challenge, and design frameworks and models for others to appreciate. This revised doctorate program, therefore, puts a premium on the application of the theoretical underpinnings in the BA and MA programs in research pursuits relevant to the dynamics of English used in post-colonial territories like the Philippines. It is therefore expected that students exhibit improved scholarship competencies by pursuing cutting-edge research in fields related to English language studies and its subfields. They are likewise expected to lead in authorship and in the implementation of high-impact research projects and collaborations that instigate change in the community. The program provides a system that places great value on conducting and communicating students' research and a supportive context in which research findings are objectively discussed, produced, and valued. The Office of the Chancellor sits at a unique vantage point to see the growth of research in the social sciences alongside with the natural sciences. Over the years, we have taken care to install support and prioritization programs for the arts, humanities, literature, and language studies. Within this decade, the university has seen the fastest growth of the humanities and arts section of the academe. The establishment of M.Si Center for Culture and Arts, as well as the resource centers dedicated to ethnological tapestry of Mindanao, all underscore the commitment of M.Si to furthering research in this field. The university is now a community partner in achieving the goals relating to culture and heritage protection. We have established resource and research centers in M.Si dedicated to these concerns. These are dedicated to uncovering new knowledge that would help us inform how we operate in our own multicultural context. Now, we have the Center for Human Rights Education, the Gender and Development Resource Center, the Center for Culture and Arts, the Mindanao Heritage Center, and the newly established Center for Language Studies. Here in M.Si, we believe that keeping up with the world is only possible if one knows himself, his roots, the struggle of his people, and the future that they imagine. Congruent, therefore, to the demand for critical awareness and responsiveness to society's needs, the teaching and learning of English must keep up with the developments in educational landscape brought about by the current digital evolution. While English remains to be the premier language of commerce and of the business world, there is merit in using it alongside the different languages that a multilingual speaker knows. Equally important to English are the worldview and perspectives that our local languages lend. I hope my presentation was able to situate how we approach language teaching in this part of the globe. I also hope that insights from a multicultural and multilingual context would inform your own implementation of English language programs. Multiple languages, multiple cultures, multiple worldviews are never an impediment to the mastery of English. In fact, they localize the use of this foreign language, adapting it to our own context and making it our own as well. Internationalization and globalizations of knowledge have brought significant effects on higher education institutions in crafting a curriculum that emphasizes competencies that are pertinent to the global job market and are needed to positively contribute to the country's development. There is hence a need for the academe to create new perspectives and to study the processes to understand society better from the lens of language. Thank you very much for your attention. You may reach us at MSUIIT through this email address. I look forward to creating ways of collaborating with you in order to further our studies in the context-based English language studies. Maraming salamat po. Thank you very much.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Give the lot thunders applause again to Professor Alizedney M. Ditucalan, JD LLM. Okay, as stated by him. Okay, so I got some conclusion that this is some encouragement for us for the Civitas Academica in EIN Kudus, that both the students and the lecturer can join the overseas exchange, because there will be like student exchange or lecturer exchange that we can do, and the Mindanao State University can also be as our brotherhood program, that both of our campus can still work together in giving like student exchange or lecture exchange. As stated, also I got information that next month, Bu Alfu and Pak Imadudin also will visit the Mindanao State University again. So hopefully they can meet Professor Alizedney, and who knows that one day even Professor Alizedney can visit in our campus. Thank you very much for such extraordinary presentation. Yes. Maybe after this there will be Q&A session. Yeah, the question and answer session. That is it possible, Mr. Professor Alizedney, for some of us to conduct question if there is still time from you?
Yeah, I can spare 10 minutes. I will be unfortunate. I would have loved to join you for a longer time, but it's the opening ceremony of the university, and but I can spare probably 10 minutes,
All right.
for a few questions.
Okay, that will be a pleasure for us. So, okay, Professor Alizedney will be with you for about 10 minutes maximum. Okay, so anyone who has question, anything to him, please deliver now. You can yes, you can just raise your hand and I will call your name. Or for everyone who joins online, please, you can deliver your question both or either by using the chat box, or you just raise your hand and I will call you. Okay, time is yours for the attendees. And while I also give you information that in this question and answer session, sadly that unfortunately Mr. Yuta Otake has left because he has another work to do. Okay, so you cannot deliver the question to him, and it's only the special moment for Professor Alizedney. Okay, yeah, related to the maybe the English teaching or how is the children backgrounds, student background, whatever. Please, if there is any. Okay, the time is yours. Come on, audience or anyone? I don't see one in the chat. Right. Okay. So while waiting for the audience to ask, okay. So actually, Mr. Alizedney, Professor Alizedney, I personally have my own question. So related to about the background, about the children's in Philippines. Okay, I know we are the neighborhood country. Both of us have the similar background, like multiple culture, religion. Okay, we are living in harmony all together. But I would like to say, I would like to ask about actually how, yeah, how is the way, how is the method to immerse or to apply to make to expose the children to English, so when they grow up they can be as fluent as early as possible. Okay, so maybe from Professor Alizedney's personal experience can share to me and to all of us about the method there that you experience, sir. Okay, thank you very much in advance.
Thank you very much. That's a very interesting questions. I think when I was in my younger years, I think Filipino children, their first exposure to the English language um, um, normally takes place in the classroom. That was, I think, during my time when I was still young. We learned the structure of English in the classrooms. Unlike before, unlike now, I think, because of the role of technologies, uh, students are exposed earlier to the English language because of their access to technology. Now you have YouTube, they can learn the language through YouTube. And that's why you will not be surprised in the Philippines where students learn the English language in their household earlier than in the classrooms. And it is also interesting to know that the kind of English that I learned in their household through their access to digital platforms quite different from the very structured English that they normally will learn in the classroom. So I think now that changes. But as you know that in the Philippines, the medium of instructions is really in English. And so all students are exposed to this kind of unique experience. It was only very recently that the Filipino language and also other languages can now be used as a medium of instructions in the classroom. But still, because teachers were taught in the English medium of instructions when they were students, it's quite difficult to shift, using your own language in the classrooms. So it's quite, that's where basically the struggle lies.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Alizedney, for such exceptional explanation. And actually, Prof, there is one more question from the audience. Okay, so to save our time, I welcome Fahmi to deliver the question live. Okay, time is yours. Okay, maybe you can move forward here in front of the stage. Okay, so
Okay.
Professor Alizedney also can see.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Good afternoon. My name is Fahmi. I'm actually an alumnus of English Education Department in IAIN Kudus. And this is actually my first encounter with Filipino English, I guess, if I may say that. And my question is, we as Indonesians,
I can hardly hear the.
Okay. Okay. We're sorry. Please.
Sorry that I have to.
That's okay. Okay, thank you. Um, uh,
Yeah.
Yes, my name is Fahmi. I am an alumnus of Tarbiyah Bahasa Inggris IAIN Kudus.
Mhm.
And this is actually my first time encountering, if I may say, Filipino English. And my question is, as Indonesians, we are not too familiar, maybe not as familiar with English in our daily lives compared to Philippines people. And as English learners, we always try to learn how to speak or pronounce words in English in the most, I guess, perfect way possible. And my question is there any some kind of standardized way of how Filipino people pronounce words in English? And do you ever have encounter any problems in communicating with people around the world in terms of international English relating to pronunciation? So I think that's it for my question. Thank you so much.
Allow me to clarify. The question has something to do with pronunciation.
Yeah, right.
Whether we somehow encounter that there seemed to be a disconnect
Yes.
with the foreign, with the native speaker of English when we speak with them. Is that the question?
Yes, that's right.
And how do we address this? Is that also the
Yes.
sort of the okay.
Yes.
Now, one of the one of the many talents of Filipinos actually is be able to really mimic even the British, the English or the American English or the other Englishes. In fact, we always claim that there is such thing as Filipino English. That you can always identify, which is quite unique in pronunciations and even in structure, and in syntax, with that of the other Englishes. But of course, we also do struggle in pronunciation because of the native tongue, that we are quite used to. Like for example, there are, like in my own language, there is this pipit sound that you can always identify if this person is actually from, for example, from the province of Lanao del Sur or Imranao. There is this unique pipit sound that is quite evident. For example, also the Cebuano, when they speak English, there are certain words that are also the hard, sort of the pronunciation is heavy. There are also instances, because of the influence of their native language, that there is also a soft pronunciations of some some words. So I think it's not unnatural. It's not, I think, uncommon also for us Filipinos to mispronounce words, because English is not, after all, our first language. But I think, again, the younger generations of learners somehow manage to have a more, I would say, cultural exposure to language because of YouTube. They can learn it. They have more. They have, I think, wider access to English movies, English TV shows, where they can actually learn the pronunciations of the words. And I think one unique aspect also is our our love for music. Music somehow has helped, developed, has helped us pronounce some of the English words, because of music.
Okay, so yeah, hopefully the explanation is clear, especially to Mr. Fahmi who delivers the question. And as we promised, okay, so it is the end of the Q&A session. And for the last time, let's give applause to Professor Alizedney and Ditucalan from Mindanao State University.
Thank you very much for the honor to be with you this afternoon. It's indeed my singular privilege. I hope to visit yung Kudus, in the coming, the soonest possible opportunity. And I hope that we can further strengthen our collaborations on many aspects of academic endeavors,
Yes.
as well as research.
Yes.
So once again, I would like to congratulate the university, the Department of Tadris Bahasa Ingles of Institute Agama Islam Nigiri Kudus for this amazing conference.
Thank you very much, Professor. Okay, yeah. So, and we are looking forward to having another collaboration, and inshallah next month it will be represented by Bu Alfu and Pak Imaduddin, who will visit Mindanao State University. And inshallah maybe next time, okay, the many students and more lecturers are coming there, and we are also welcome the representative from that too. Okay. Yes, and for the very last time, yeah, so maybe we can take a picture together. Yes, if the online too. So I welcome for every participant online to turn on the camera so all of your George's face can be seen, so we can we can capture this moment together. And for all of the audiences who is in the room, you can move forward into the stage so we can take a picture together while the background is the screen of the presentation. Okay, let's go. Okay, we have a short time.
For those who are joining us online, please prepare because we will screenshot our screen as well. 3, 2. Three, two.
Well, that's it, the agenda of our main program that was delivered by our exceptional speakers from Mr. Yuta Otake and also Professor Alizedney and Ditucalan. And this is the first agenda from the our third ICETLI 2023. And we are moving on into the parallel program that will be held at about 2 p.m. At 2 p.m. later on, for the presenter can join again in our breakout rooms. But for now, we will have about 30 minutes of break for the prayer and also having some lunch. So I will see you again later on in at about 2 p.m. And again, for the last time, I would deliver my gratitude, my greatest gratitude to both of our invited speakers today who already delivered such marvelous knowledge and presentation. Hopefully for all of the participants, the attendees, and also the audience can get the fruitful knowledges from the invited speakers. And inshallah, we are going to have another amazing amazing speaker, amazing presentation that we are going to have in the fourth ICETLI next year. But it is time for the break, and later on we are return again in about 30 minutes. I am Moh Misbah Munir as the moderator for the main program. Would like to say thank you very much for all parties who made this program become possible, and also deliver the apology if there is a mistake that I do during leading this main agenda. And that's it. I will see you again. And thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. For those presenters, I'll break in the main room over here. And for the rest, please enter your room in room 2 or room 3. Thank you. First of all, I will be the moderator of breakout room 1, and let me check for the attendance first. Well, Bapak Ibu, in room 1 we have Zohaib Hassan Sain from Superior University, Pakistan. Marisa Franlina from UIN Salatiga, Indonesia. Alfia Sari and Afifa Stania from Universitas Negeri Malang. Anissa Setianingrum and Deviana Putri from IAIN Kudus. Diah Nur Hidayati from Universitas Tunas Pembangunan. Ida Fitri Anggarini from M.A Al-Ittihad Malang. Dewi Sahruni Serliah Nur and Multazam Abu Bakar from UIN Alauddin Makassar. Suci Putri Utami and Muhammad Arif Al-Hakim from IAIN Kudus. Iftina Fahriyah and Alfun Imah from IAIN Kudus. And Ulfa Wulan Agustina from Universitas Kiai Haji Ahmad Wahab Hasbullah. So for the rest, if you belongs to the presenters of one of our breakout room, you could enter room 2 or room 3. However, if you are the participants of this conference, you may stay here, or you could find another breakout room related to your interest. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So over here in breakout room 1, we have 10 presentations. So the first chance will be Mr. Zohaib Hassan Sain. For Mr. Zohaib, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. My name is Zohaib Hassan Sain, and the title of my paper is Navigating Blended Learning Implementation, Challenges and Recommendations in Pakistani Universities. Introduction. This research investigates the importance of implementing blended learning, particularly in the context of Pakistan's educational challenges and the global shift towards technology-driven education, with a focus on its effectiveness, challenges, and potential impact on higher education standards and student learning. And the research questions are: what difficulties do students encounter when utilizing blended learning at the university level in Pakistan? And the research question 2 is: what can be the recommendations for utilizing blended learning at the university level in Pakistan? Methodology. The study employed a quantitative approach through a descriptive survey involving 219 students from 3 public universities in the BS 4-year program BScs during 2022. Data collection used as a questionnaire with a 3-point Likert scale, informed by extensive literature review, enabling effective examination of student perceptions on blended learning's implementation. And the findings are: the majority of participants acknowledge difficulties, including lack of motivation, 83%, insufficient technical support, 91%, absence of institutional policies, 93%, and time constraints, 67%. Notably, a significant portion, 72%, also recognized a lack of skills as a hindrance to effective utilization of blended learning methods. As you can see in figure 2, the challenges faced by the students. Conclusion. The research positive findings highlight the potential benefits of blended learning for Pakistani university students, including enhanced learning experience and improved academic performance. However, the study's identification of barriers, emphasizing the need to address challenges like technology policies, resource limitations, skill gaps, and technical support to establish a strong blended learning ecosystem in developing country contexts, ultimately contributing to better education quality and digital interaction. So the recommendations are: implement blended learning through university learning management software and enforce institutional policies, provide free technological resources, technical support, and teacher training for advanced skills, alongside ongoing teacher development and engaging student strategies. So these are the references. Thank you. Yes, delegates, if you have any questions, you can ask.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Test.
Oh, yeah.
Test. Test.
Hello? Okay, thank you so much for the time given to me. I'd like to start my presentations here. Okay, as we know that we see a lot of people, a lot of students that they do not have any good characters, and it is worse because of the disruptive era. And I think that because of this problem, the lack of characters of students, we need the religious moderation in English text. Why? Because it also supports the curriculum 13 that mandates the instructor incorporates character education into all of their academic subjects. And this demonstrates the pressing need to incorporate religious moderation values into English curriculum. And we see that here a lot of teachers, they haven't implemented religious moderation in our text. They only deliver the religious moderation at the beginning of the lesson by giving hadith or Al-Quran or surah from the Holy Quran. That's why here we are as a researcher, me and my team, we held such a research related to how to remake text based on religious moderation to be implemented in our English text and especially in our English class. And here's the method that we use here, qualitative method with case study design. The sample is English teachers in Semarang Regency. The data collections are documentation, observation, and also interview. And the data analysis consists of data reduction, data display, and drawing conclusion. And here are our finding and discussion. The first, what we need to do when we want to remake our English text using religious moderation is looking for English text from the internet, and we need to know that the resource is very trusted, so that we can choose the right text from the internet. And then after that, we choose the website, of course, trusted website. And after that, we download the text and we analyze the original story, including the intrinsic value of the story. After that, we identify the intrinsic value and then we edit the intrinsic value based on religious motivation. For example, like changing the name from James into Muhammad or Yusuf or Islamic name, something like that. And after that, we rewrite the story based on the accommodating the state, nation, and culture like muwatanah and then ukhuwah based on religious motivation indicators. And I think that's all my presentations. We can share the PPT if you want to know about our research. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Alvina Sari and my partner Alvin Prastonia from Universitas Negeri Malang would like to give out the results of our research with the title Content, Language, and Culture, the Practice of Integrating Islamic Value in CLIL Primary School. So first of all, we would like to inform you the background of the study that we see in a current curriculum because the teachers are emphasized the profile Pelajar Pancasila, and the first thing is to deliver the value of faith, fear of God, and moral character from the early age. We see that it is very important for the students to have strong foundations of the value of faith, fear of God, and also they have to be able to introduce the moral character since the early age. Secondly, you see in a practice of teaching language, there will be a cultural practices and ideas from Westerners that represented in the real educational materials like books and social media that it also impact the students' thinking and way of life. That is why we, as the researchers, we would like to observe the implementations of Islamic value in a CLIL primary schools because in the CLIL primary schools, they integrate the Islamic values into the content. So they are not only focusing on the content, but they also focusing on the language and also the value that they integrated in the culture from the IL framework itself. The methodology that we use here is descriptive qualitative by interviewing 5 teachers from the subject and also language teachers in one Islamic private primary school in Surabaya. And the results here, number one, we see that the importance of teaching Islamic values. All teachers agree that it is important because the students need to build the value of faith, noble characters, and thankful since primary one. And then they integrate the Islamic values into the lessons every day through explicitly and implicitly And then, how do the teachers implement the Islamic values into the content? Is number one, the teacher choose the Quran or Hadith based on the content. For example, the topic is numbers, so the teachers will relate the topic with numbers of body parts and ask them to be thankful for the most given by looking at by counting the numbers of their body parts. And second, they input the plans into the lesson plan. So the lesson plan of each meeting has its Islamic value.
And the next one, as my friends say that the teachers divided the ways of teaching into two, explicitly and also implicitly. In explicitly, the teachers associated the Quran verses and hadiths with daily activities, the students' daily activities, and then explain it with the topic being discussed. Here, such as the teachers using Surah Sajdah verses 9, and then the teachers will ask the students to see the body parts and then to be grateful of their body parts because they are, for example, perfect. And then through implicitly, the teachers will make the students to get used to, such as recite basmalah and hamdalah before and after doing an activity. And then the teachers also remind the students for the attitude based on the hadith and also the Quran. The teachers also face some obstacle here, such as they found it difficult to relate the Quran verses or hadith with the topic. One of the teachers is teaching mathematics, and she found it difficult to relate the Quran verses with the mathematics topics such as algebra, decimal, things like that. But then the teachers overcome it with associate the topic with the learning attitude based on hadith and Quran. And then the conclusion, integrating Islamic values into young learners is important. And then teachers in CLIL schools integrate Islamic values through the content, plan it in the lesson plan, and select the values from Quran and Hadith. And teaching the Islamic values as explicitly and implicitly, like what we have said before. And then the last one, however, as this study limited on teachers' perspective, for the future studies need to be observed the implementation in the classroom. Thus, the future researcher can investigate the process in depth. And that's all from us. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you very much for the third presenters. It's test. Check. Thank you very much for the first, second, and the third presenters. So now we turn to the fourth for Mrs. Anissa Satyaningrum and Mrs. Deviana Putri. The floor is yours. Ada ya?
Okay, thank you, Miss. I will say screen now. Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Now I am Deviana Putri and Miss Ningrum from IAIN Kudus. Here, I would like to present about our research and detailed teaching, asking and giving opinion by using group discussion as studied at an Islamic senior high school in Demak. Next, background of study. Teaching English for Islamic senior high school students tend to face various challenges. There are many challenges in teaching high school students. It needs some effort in interacting student interest to foster their motivation. Every motivation given must be useful and make student better. And it needs various learning models. One of them is group discussion. I took the group discussion learning model because there are more high school students and they like to talk and grow their discussion through the group learning model. Group discussion is one of learning models that can be used to attract student motivation and learning English, especially in learning how to express, asking, and giving opinion. Researching the implementation of English teaching and learning process, especially teaching, asking, and giving opinion by using group discussion, is beneficial for reflecting the process and evaluating it. It also can be a consideration for the next teaching process and is able to be an inspiration for other English teacher. And we talk a research statement regarding how is the implementation of teaching, asking, and giving opinion by using group discussion for 11th grade student of an Islamic senior high school in Demak. Okay, here are some of relevant previous studies that have been conducted by some research. Please, next slide, Miss. Some relevant studies had been done by some research. They are the first benefit and challenge of group discussion as creative learning strategies in speaking class from Rahmat and John 2023, and the second, the implementation of group discussion in English speaking class from the 7th grade student from Amalia 2022, and the third, the implementation of collaborative writing to teach, asking, and giving opinion in a vocational high school in Yogyakarta from Amar 2020, and the fourth, improving student speaking ability in using asking expression and giving opinion through debate method at SMK Baji Minasa Makassar from Lisanti 2018, and the last implementation of small group discussion to improve student speaking ability of grade 8A of MTS Bina Ulama Kisaran from Nasution 2017. From the research that has been carried out and published, no one has researched the research topic that we are carrying out. And the next, in study, we use the methodology as descriptive qualitative study, and data collection was done by using interview, observation, and documentation. We call it data was analyzed, descriptive, and validate by using triangulation technique. Okay, in the implementation of teaching, asking, and giving opinions by using group discussions, we did 3 learning activities. The first is pre-teaching. I opened the lesson with a greeting. Miss, please, next slide. Okay. We did 3 learning activities. The first is pre-teaching. I opened the lesson with a greeting and praise to begin learning. The second, I always check the attendance of students as a disciplinary brush. And the last, I provide an overview and enthusiasm for learning about the benefits of learning, asking, and giving opinion, because this is able to make students enthusiastic and participating in learning before entering this material. And the second, whilst teaching, Students are directed to observe explanation through PowerPoint display by the teacher. Here I show several slides regarding the meaning, function, example, and so on. Students understand the characteristic and linguistic elements of asking and giving opinion. Students arrange words to complete sentences of asking and giving opinion expression that are appropriate according to their functions. And the fourth, students read simple conversation in book that have been provided in pairs. In this lesson, I form groups to hone their knowledge and develop in together. And the last, students enjoy practicing asking and giving opinion in group. And also discuss various pictures, and they give opinion according to their respective group. The picture provide are picture of natural landscape and public feature and the recognized. And the last activities is post-teaching. I provide feedback on the learning that has been learned. I assign the task to the student to create a text of asking and giving opinion prizes. And the last, I close the classroom with a greeting and direct student to pray before leaving the classroom. Okay, its conclusion, based on the data that has been analyzed, it can be concluded that the process of teaching, asking, and giving opinion by using group discussion was conducted well, and the students were excited, enjoying the class, because many of them prefer to carry out group discussion that are able to develop their knowledge thoroughly. So many presentation about our research. That is all, and thank you.
Okay, very Okay, thank you very much for the great presentations, Miss Deviana Putri. So the next presentations will be delivered by Mrs. Dia Nur Hidayati. For Mrs. Dia, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for giving the chance to present my research paper entitled Leveraging Poster Presentation as a Project-Based Learning Approach to Enhance Student English Proficiency. I am Dia Nur Hidayati from Universitas Dinas Pembangunan Surakarta. So my research is based on the fact that rapid globalization right now, and the student must master English proficiency in order that they can compete to find a better job, not only in local company, but also in international company. And my background student is that they are from engineering department, and in the semester 5, they have to have an international competition. They have to present their project in English. So that is why this is to be my background of my research, and I have to find a good way to teach the student both English and also how to make them become confident when they have a presentation in English. That's why I decided to use a project-based learning in my classroom. And to meet my student need here, I use a poster presentation. So why I use a poster presentation based on the several experts that poster presentation traditionally associated with academic conferences. This is in accordance with my student need that they have to present their project in English later on when they have already been in semester 5. And poster presentation also offer a multifaceted platform that stimulates holistic language development, and it also a dynamic conflict of visual design critical analysis, and persuasive communication. And it also fosters a synthesis of language skill and cognitive abilities. And my research is focused on to explore the synergistic potential of integrating poster presentation into project-based learning as a means to enhance a student English proficiency. And I conduct this qualitative research by giving the student an open-ended interview, and I also conduct an observation while teaching at class. And this is the example of my student poster. So I, in the first meeting, I explained to the student that this semester you are going to have a project, 2 big projects. You have to design a poster, and then at the end of the semester, you have to present your poster, or you will have a poster presentation. And every meeting, I give the student a small project. Like the first meeting, after I give the student understanding that you have to design a scientific poster, not other poster. Yeah, because we know that there are so many kind of poster, like political poster, promotion poster. But the first meeting, I have to make sure that the student have the same understanding that they have to design a scientific poster. Okay, and then the next one, I encourage the student to make a group of 3, and then they have to decide the topic they want to do, the topic or they want to conduct the research, because they have to make a scientific poster. It means they have to do a mini research here. And look at this one, that there are several part of the poster itself. So here I also explain to the student that there are several part of the poster, and every part of the poster have a different tenses. So here I explain the student that, for example, the introduction, you have to write using present tense and past tense, and in a method and material, you have to write it in using past tense, and so on and so on. So based on the student interview that they really enjoy during the class when I use a project-based approach in the form of poster presentation, and they also respond that they did not get a sleep when we use a project based approach in the form of poster presentation. Because in this case is that after I give the student theory, I encourage them to have a practice. For example, after I explain how to write a good title, and then I ask them to try write a good poster itself, a good title itself. And for example, another example is that when I explain how to write a good introduction after the class finish, I ask the student to start writing their introduction as well. And the next meeting, I will give a feedback to the student writing, because I always encourage my students to upload their mini project in our Google Classroom, so I can check it every time, once I have a time. So based on my observation that a poster presentation mediated the improvement of student English proficiency, the first one is that the student can have a language exposure and practice. Yes, here before the student write their introduction, for example, I ask them to read scientific article or books or website. Of course, I ask them to read in English version, because this is in English course, so you have to find the English text or English version. By doing so, their vocabulary also increase much better, because I motivate my students to often check the dictionary if they find the difficulty of the type of the word. And the next one is writing proficiency, because the student have already read enough resources. They can start write their introduction, and then they also have to cite the credible references. For example, journal article. And in this case, I also teach how to verify this, because I asked the student to check their plagiarism using Turnitin before they submit their assignment. And then after that, I give a feedback. Okay, your writing is good, and then you need to revise this one, that one, and then your sentence is not good, you have to revise the one. Your paragraph is not good, you have to put the main idea and then followed by supporting sentences, something like that. And of course, their speaking and presentation skill improve much better, because half semester I focus on writing skill, and then half semester I focus on speaking skill. After half semester, they design the poster, and then half semester I did focus on the speaking itself, like how to present the poster in English, how to open the presentation, and then how to present the presentation in order that the audience engage actively, something like that. And here I also give several tips to do the presentation. And here, their critical thinking and analysis also improve much better, because the student here have to conduct a mini research before they can write their scientific poster. But I encourage my students to do an observation or library research because of the limitation of the time. But still, they have to think critically to find the answer of their research problem. And also here, because I ask the student to do in group, they have to collaborate and have a discussion with their partner, and then they have to solve their own problem when they have different opinions or different thoughts. And here, by doing so, I can help my students to improve their confidence too. For example, there is one student, he cannot speak well, or he has what is said favor, and then I often encourage them, okay, you can try, keep practicing, and after, at the end of the class, he can present the poster confidently. And in this case, their multimedia skill also improve, because even I allow them to adopt or adapt the format of the poster from the internet, they still have to make an adjustment, like the color and then the content, the picture, based on the topic that they choose. So the skill of the choice of multimedia must be
you have 1 minute left.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Ibu Dia. And the rest will be Mrs. Ida Fitri Anggarini. So she already sent the video of presentations due to an event outside there.
Yeah.
Once again,
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Ida Fitri Anggarini, represent to research class of MA Al-Ittihad, Poncokusumo Malang. In here, I would like to present my paper entitled Is Use of EFL Class in Pesantren a Case Study. In here, I would like to share my abstract. EFL has many challenges, specifically when it learned in pesantren. It is because EFL isn't priority, even English is needed in this borderless era. Research related to the topic was rarely found. This study is aimed to document the issues of EFL class in pesantren. This qualitative case study was held into pesantren in Malang, East Java, Indonesia. The first one is Islamic Boarding School of Al-Ittihad and Islamic Boarding School of An-Nur Bululawang Malang. And then the data are collected from 5 teachers and 5 centuries by observation, in-depth interviews, and documentation. After its analysis, the study has revealed several themes related to the topic. The first one is issues of EFL class in pesantren. 2, alternatives for EFL class in pesantren. And the third one is addition lesson of EFL class in pesantren. EFL class in pesantren indicates combining Arabic and English with inserting religious values. Keyword, EFL, English as foreign language, class, and pesantren. So, for the audiences, this is my design for the next paper when I submitted to ICETLI for final paper on October 2023. That's all, I think, because I just finished the abstract, I just designed it, and then for the fixed outline, I will send it to the committee. So thank you. If you have any inquiries, please contact me. Don't hesitate to contact me for further maybe information or anything on my email, idafitrianggarini@gmail.com. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
check. For coming next, once again, I remind you, if you need to ask something, you may deliver to the chat box since we are running out of time. So the next chance will be Mrs. Dewi Sahruni, Mrs. Sarliyah Nur, and Mr. Multazam Abu Bakar. For the presenters, the floor is yours.
Thank you for the opportunity. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for giving me this chance. I'm Dewi Sahruni from UIN Alauddin Makassar. And the title of our research is The Analysis of the Third Year Students' Speaking Performance in Classroom Presentation at English Education Department of UIN Alauddin Makassar. Well, speaking is a process of conveying information between speaker and listener. And based on its function, speaking is divided into three: speaking as interaction, speaking as construction, and speaking as performance. And one of types of speaking as performance is oral presentation. So, based on the curriculum at UIN Alauddin Makassar, students will study speaking in 3 times. In the first semester, they will study speaking in general communication. In the second semester, they will study speaking in professional context, and in the third semester, study speaking in academic purposes. Well, after study speaking, the students are expected to be able to speak well, and especially for the speaking for academic purposes, the students not only can speak well, but can speak in a formal way. And based on the preliminary research on May 2022, the researchers got that not all of the audience can speak well, especially when they did presentation. Many of them couldn't make good eye contact or good movement. So based on the preliminary research, the researchers thinks that it's important to conduct this research regarding the speaking performance in classroom presentation. The research question is, what are the third year student speaking performance in classroom presentation at English Education Department of UIN Alauddin Makassar? Here, the researcher used descriptive research with qualitative approach, and the subject of this research is the third year students of English Education Department of UIN Alauddin Makassar, and there are 15 students as a sample, and the sampling technique is simple random sampling, and the instrument is observation. And we can see on the screen that the scoring rubric is based on ELT 2006, and here there are two components. Those are content and delivery. And here is the result of this research. We can see that the aspect first is aspect of content analysis. Here the first indicator is in introduction, and the second indicator is thesis statement. These indicators got low qualification. And next is the indicator of connection to audience, subject knowledge, and organization. Those are got moderate qualification. And then the result of the aspect analysis of the delivery, we can see that there are 4 indicators here. Those are a contact, movement, voice, and fluency, and those are the low qualification. We can see on the screen that the total mean of the aspect of content analysis is 30.3, and the total mean of the aspect of delivery analysis is 24. Yeah, next table is we can see that those are the each aspect of student score. And to make it simple, just look at the next table. We can see that 2 students got high qualification, 2 students got moderate qualification, and there are 11 students got low qualification. Here, the result of assessment of content, first, it can be seen that the students had moderate level in aspect of organization, subject knowledge, and aspect of connection to audience. And the second is, it can be seen that the students had low level in aspect of thesis statement and introduction. Next is the result of the assessment of delivery. It can be seen that all of the aspects, namely a contact, fluency, movement, and voice, were in a low level. And then the conclusion, based on the finding, revealed that the level of the third year students presentation in low level dominantly. Yeah, the conclusion of this study is the third year students of the English Education Department of UIN Alauddin Makassar in academic year 2022-2023 had low proficiency of speaking as performance in classroom presentation. This indicates that students' ability to master the material and deliver it to the audience are still lacking. Based on the findings of this study, the researchers can conclude that the aspect of the delivery is more challenging than the aspect of content. Well, I think that's all from me. Thank you very much. I give it back to the moderator.
Okay, thank you very much for Mrs. Dewi Sahruni and team. And now we go to the next turn. We have Mrs. Suci Putri Utami and Mr. Muhammad Arif Al-Hakim. So for the presenters, the digital stage is yours.
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Sushbudu Utami and Mr. Muhammad Arif Al-Hakim. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to present our research entitled Perceptions of EFL Learner Toward the Use of Islamic YouTube channel Merciful Servant in Improving Listening Skills. Okay, first, introductions. Listening is one of the most difficult skill to learn in English for EFL learners. EFL learners need to choose appropriate learning media that will make it easier to learn listening skills. Learning using Android and Internet network will give a different impression that can change student perceptions of learning English. YouTube is a learning medium that can increase learning motivations and also increase learning achievement. Research objective to determine the perceptions of EFL learners regarding the use of the YouTube channel Merciful Servant in improving listening skill and also to find out what positive impact are obtained using the YouTube channel. Next. Previous studies. From Wang and Chen, 2019, the result of the research found that EFL learners use YouTube learning media to further explore learning research, find the appeal of learning English, and explore other insights. Sin et al. 2020, the result of the research found that the use of YouTube can improve EFL learner listening comprehensions. Then Grosella and Noor 2020, there is positive perceptions of using YouTube as a medium for learning English, such as getting many benefits and increasing learning motivations. Next, methodology. This research used descriptive qualitative, then research subject were EFL learners who is also a user of YouTube channel Merciful Servant, data collected through preliminary research and interviews. Finding and discussion. First, perceptions of EFL learners in using the Merciful Servant YouTube channel as a medium to improve listening skills. The result obtained, there is an increase in listening skill according to the result of the question and answer during the preliminary research. Furthermore, data from interviews, participants gave a positive perceptions of the Merciful Servant YouTube channels. Participants rate this channel as very useful for learning their listening skill. Second, reason for expressing these perceptions and the impact after using the YouTube channel in listening skills. From the interviews result, it was also found that the reason for the participant perceptions that the YouTube channel Merciful Servant could improve their listening skill were because they felt an increase in vocabulary mastery, accustomed to hearing audio from native speakers, increase the enthusiasm for learning listening skills and others. Next conclusion. There is a positive perceptions of the participant in using the YouTube channel as a medium for learning listening skills. Second, the impact felt by the participant include adding a new vocabulary, getting used to hearing a native accent, and others. There is a reference. Okay, and that's all for me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Mrs. Iftina. So we still have one more presenters from, yeah. Okay, the committee just announced that our last presenter have left the room for a while for doing something. So I remind you once again, if you have some questions that you want to address to every presenters, starting from the first up to the last, you could deliver directly or send it to the chat box. Okay, welcome back, Mrs. Ulfa Wulan Agustina.
Yes, Miss.
Yeah. Are you ready now?
Yes, I'm ready now.
Okay, so now the virtual mic is yours.
Sweet. I would like to present. Wait. Okay, thank you for the times. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Ghufron Agustina. I'm from Universitas Kiai Haji Abdul Wahab Hasbullah, Jombang. I would like to present about children with special needs to Nagrahita respond through learning media S.Ag speaking media for speaking. Background of my study is that education is important for the nation children because for their natures, but unfortunately, no more researchers that research about disabled students. Novitat 27 states mentally handicapped children or children with mental disabilities are children who experience impaired development of their thinking and personality. English education learning for mentally disabled at the junior high school is very important because these learning patterns are developed and can increase the intelligence students. English learning in children with disabilities can be said it's difficult to tense. Therefore, it is necessary to use the media as an alternative to convey it attractively in order to produce reciprocity between teachers and students. So because of this study, I would introduce about S.Ag media. S.Ag Media is one of the learning media which is developed by students in Unwaha universities in collaboration with lecturers and focus on speaking, especially vocabulary mastery for mentally disabilities. This media is specially designed for mental health children to make it easier for them to learn English. Object of this research is focused on children with special needs respond after using media for speaking. And the research methods, the design of this research is descriptive qualitative. After conduct the media, S.Ag media, so then the researcher adds means instrument in collecting data, research use observation sheets and field notes. After conduct the media, so the researcher distribute the questionnaire to the student needs with special needs, especially and mentally or tunagrahita. consists 10 students in the class of SMP Tunagrahita at SLP Muhammadiyah Jombang. And then after distribute the questionnaires, the result is 78% students, or about 7 students, are motivated and also easy to speak and remembering the vocabularies in speaking tasks, and about 22% or 5 students say that SEGA that helped them much to speak it. And then the conclusion of this research is can conclude that SEGA, or speaking games, which have developed by the students of Unwaha University, is help the children with special needs to explore and also improve their English speaking much. By these results, hopefully another researchers can conduct this study in another level and skills. Thank you. Those are all of our presentations. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, dear presenters, especially in breakout room 1. So, since we are running out of time, so is there any questions that you want to address? No? So I remind you to fill in the attendance list of the day that you could access in the chat box or in our WhatsApp group. So as we conclude to these parallel sessions, so I want to express my gratitude, especially to the presenters of Breakout Room 1 for giving us insightful knowledge and opportunity to learn more about Islamic settings and education. And thank you very much for your trust in choosing our conference. And hopefully we can see you again next time. And please wait for any information related to our output in the proceedings or in the our journals. Thank you very much once again. And let's give applause to all of you. And see you again next time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much.
Check
I
further,
want to
Mom.
ask,
Check some.
please, I want to
Check
ask
some.
that is there any attendance link for the presenters also, or just for the participants?
For both.
Okay, for both. Because a participant attendance link was shared, but not yet the presenters link.
You can see the chat box there.
Not yet. I haven't seen.
Let me share once again here.
Ya aku TOD nggak salah dulu. Kerja dinung tapi ternyata.
Did you access the attendance list just now?
Yes, I can see now.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you very much for the information. Yeah. Well, hopefully we could see you again in our annual conversation next year, inshallah. Well, Bapak Ibu, So before we leave the room, I would like to invite you to open the cam so we could take a picture together.
Pardon, ma'am, I have not presented yet, ma'am.
Wait. Would you mind to mention your name?
Iftina Fahria.
Iftina. Oh, yeah. Okay, really sorry, Mbak. Yeah, really sorry, Miss Iftina Fahria.
Yes.
So yeah, we still have one more presenters. Okay, so the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Is it clear enough?
Not yet, Miss Iftina.
Okay.
Okay, we can see it. Oh, wait a minute. It's gone again.
Wait a second, ma'am. Okay. Is it clear enough, ma'am? For the share screen or PowerPoint?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. Thank you for the great opportunity. I am Iftina Fahria. Allow me to present my paper entitled Exploring TikTok as an Interesting Media for Learning English, a case study in Madrasah Sanawiyah in Kudus. Okay, for the introduction, English is the language that important to learn. However, pupils' mastery of English in MTS ICETLI Kudus is still low. So TikTok is the most loved application by school-aged children. Is one of the consideration to be used as an interactive English learning media. TikTok has adequate features in the learning process, provides entertainment that suits the users. There are many accounts that provide videos about learning English and enrich English vocabulary. Okay. The author found teachers who have implemented this in pupils' learning. This paper seeks to explore the implementation of TikTok as an interesting media for learning English, especially on advertisement material in ninth grade at MTS ICETLI. This case study will focus on the implementation of TikTok as an interesting media for learning English and the supports and obstacles of TikTok as an interesting media for learning English. Okay, for the methodology, this paper used qualitative method and especially descriptive technique approach. The author interviewed RKD, an English teacher at MTS ICETLI. The author also interviewed R, a ninth grade pupil. 15 pupils at the same school location were involved in the open-ended questionnaire data. To enrich the data, the author also made observation during the learning process using TikTok. Okay, for finding and discussion, the implementation of TikTok as an interesting media for learning English divided into preparation and practice. The teacher prepared by explaining the advertisement material and assignment to pupils to create video about advertisement on TikTok in groups. And in practice was the activity of discussing and analyzing videos that shown in front of class. Then teacher gave reflection. Prativi et al. 2021 stated that as an English pronunciation learning English, TikTok can be used as an interesting, innovative, and interactive learning media. While in this paper, there is a novelty that TikTok has become an interesting learning media for advertising material. Pupils did not feel bored because learning was not student-centered. Okay. The supporting factors of TikTok as an interesting media for learning English are TikTok has short duration, make the learning not boring, the material delivered more enjoyable because pupils are invited to be directly involved. Pupils were encouraged to think critically in the activity of analyzing the video and increase English vocabulary. The obstacles, such as bad signal and some pupils who were not allowed to use smartphones, could be overcome by forming a group so that each group member could help each other. According to Anumantan and Hasim 2022, TikTok effectively improved regular verb vocabulary. However, some of the pupils face difficulties in creating their own TikTok videos, while there is a gap that TikTok was effectively applied in advertisement material, and obstacles such as signal and smartphone difficulties could be overcome by making. For the conclusion, the application of TikTok as a learning media by making advertisement videos on TikTok in groups, which are then analyzed, made the atmosphere became more fun, not boring, increased the vocabulary, and invited pupils to think critically. Signal constraints and people who were not allowed to use smartphone could be overcome by making or forming groups. Okay, thank you for the nice attention. I really do apologize for many mistakes. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Iftina, for the beneficial presentations. And everyone, once again, I invite you to open the camera since we are running out of time, so we could take a pictures together. I'll give some seconds, yeah. So ready? Okay, let me count from 3, 2, 1. Once again. 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you so much for your participation, for being presenters, for let's give applause to all of you. Yeah, and thank you very much all, and please forgive us for any inconvenience, and see you again inshallah next year. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
For everyone, you could leave the room since we want to close for the main room as well. Thank you.